Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And now we move on to Doom, a movie that I've heard is one of the worst video game adaptations ever made. It's got a lot of negative reviews, and I thought it was okay. It was fine. Nothing spectacular, but certainly wasn't anything I would say terrible. Granted, I've never played the video game. I know some things. I know the creature designs in this movie are based off of Doom 3. I know that it's a first-person shooter, and I know about the BFG big fucking gun. That's about how much I know. I know this movie was heavily criticized, like most video game adaptations are, for not following the video game. I also know that the video game takes place on Mars or Hell, like it's literally Hell, Hell spawned from Hell. This movie takes place on Mars, and the creatures are more like zombies, and except for when you have some of the other creatures that look like stuff I've seen in pictures and videos of Doom, but mostly Doom 3 designs, like I said. And it involves a group of soldiers, we'll get to that, going to a base on Mars when the staff of the base goes missing. And they make contact with the sister of one of the main characters, played by Carl Urban. Is one of the main characters, not the sister. And they go there to investigate. So I ended up liking more in this than I thought I was going to. Because I thought I wasn't going to like this movie. Like, I never played the game. But I thought it was okay. I wouldn't say I liked it, but I thought it was okay. I liked more, like, the cast. You got The Rock, Carl Urban, and Richard Brake playing three of the soldiers. You have The Rock, who's presented as our protagonist, and then when it's time for the third act, he becomes the villain, and Carl Urban is suddenly our protagonist. And then Carl Urban's a great actor. This case doesn't do him any favors, because the case, now that is like some of the scars when he's attacked, he gets it on his face. But the context of this cover, if you saw him, would you think he's a good guy or he's going to become infected and be one of the bad guys? That's what I think. I'm just saying. And The Rock's surprise heel turn at the end, really, I just like when he starts, like, okay, so I already knew some of the stuff in this. Like, I knew that The Rock had a surprise heel turn. I'm like, oh, he's been infected, but he doesn't get infected till after he starts his heel turn, and it's like, we gotta kill them all. We have to maintain quarantine. My orders. It's my orders. We have to kill them all, even if they're not infected. And it's like, what? He must be infected and going nuts. No, he doesn't get infected till after that, and he comes back with a big bite mark on his neck, and it's like, wait, so now he's infected, he was just a dick the entire time? Okay. But the cast is pretty good. The score, the music in this, pretty good. They did music. Clint Mansell. Well, the music is pretty good, even though it doesn't lead to anything. There's not many what you would call action scenes in this movie. So the music plays in the running scenes. When they run, the action scenes go like this. Oh, sorry, more effect. It looks more like this. I'm serious, you can't see fucking anything. If you're having a hard time seeing me, watch the movie. That's more what it looks like. I'm serious. That's exactly what it looks like. I just walked around the table. You couldn't tell because it's too dark. Just saying. Okay, you can see a little bit more than that, but it's pretty close. Yeah, the music just plays in running scenes because it goes do-do-do-do, and then they're walking, and they're looking for like 10 minutes, and then another thing pops up, do-do-do, then they're walking, and they're looking, and some dialogue. And as far as the hell aspect from the games, well, it's more of a metaphor in this movie because it's hell. It's, can't you see? It's like hell, or it's hell, and it's like, oh, it's a metaphor. It's not really hell. It's just a metaphor. Okay, and like the reason that we have these creatures sounds more like Resident Evil. There's this thing, a 24th chromosome injected into someone to make them do something. I don't think they ever said what they were trying to do. Do something, and then they play this thing at the end. It's like, oh, if you're a good person, it won't turn you into a monster. But if you're a bad person, it'll turn you into a monster. And that's why The Rock had to be a dick towards the end, so that when he's injected, it justifies him turning into a monster. And then they only say that, oh, if you're good, it doesn't do that because we have to justify that Carl Urban can get super strength but not turn into a monster at the end when he fights The Rock. And then he gets injected, and then we get the first person scene that's really like Doom, which is a scene I really liked. I'm like, this is like a first person shooter. This is like Doom. I've watched people do live streams with it, and this looked like Doom, albeit a little more shitty CGI-ish, but I mean, yeah. And the BFG. So The Rock finds the BFG, which in this movie is called the Bio something gun. Bio fragment gun, something like that. Bio something. Big fucking gun. He calls it big fucking gun, right? But you can't call it that on the thing, I guess. And he uses it but 2 times, and both times it just hits a wall. Like, he fires it at a creature, but it moves and it hits a wall, and he fires it at Carl Urban moves, it hits a wall. What's the point? If you're not going to use it right, why use it at all? I'm just saying, just why? Why? Nate Richard Brake, he's a pervert in this. Like, they first show up, and he's like, ladies, look, this is a high-intense situation. I might have to strip search you. And then, like, Rosamund Pike walks by. He's like, hold that thought. Hey, he does the same thing to her. And it ends up being Grimm's sister. And his last name is Grimm. Carl Urban's last name is Grimm. And his call name is Reaper. Get it? Grim Reaper. They have the most generic thing, like one of the new guys, he's called the Kid, and wouldn't you know it, he's a new recruit, and he dies. There's a character called Pinky. Okay, he's got no legs, and they make his body went one way, his ass went the other, and it's like, oh, okay, but that sounds really like Spaceballs. Why didn't nobody tell me my ass was so big? You know? But, yeah, it's really dark. Not really much for action scenes. Rosamund Pike and Carl Urban are often dipping in and out of their accents. And when they try to not to, it comes out weird, like Rosamund Pike saying, "Oh, God!" As if she's trying to say, "Oh, God! Oh, God!" She ends up sounding like Jennifer Coolidge. "Oh, God!" It just doesn't sound right because they're trying to. You ever know an actor from like Australia, New Zealand, or something like that, and they say they're R's, but you know that they're not supposed to say it, so it comes out sound very weird, like, "Are you here? What are you doing?" Because they're focusing on the R's, so they sound American, but they're overemphasizing the R's. That's what it seems like. Or sometimes it doesn't seem like they're saying it at all. They're kind of dipping in and out of their accents. It's really weird. But yeah, this was okay. The special effects. 2005 CGI. Do I need to say more? It's not one I'd watch again, but I wouldn't say it's terrible. Like, maybe if I was a bigger fan of the games, I would hate it, but it's okay to me. In fact, I'll give it a middle of the road, just because it's not, like, I'd never watch it again. But I'm not saying you shouldn't. Like, when I give it a not worth your time, I would just say not worth your time. But I don't know, middle of the road. There's some good things in it. uneventful. But that's going to go away with our next review. I'm going to reveal what the next review is going to be because you need to prepare yourself for tomorrow. All right? We're dipping back into the world of Uwe Boll with House of the Dead. Pray for me. Please. Please, just please pray for me. Till then, what are your thoughts on Doom? Leave in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.